Today's episode is Eric Cartman goes trick or treat while grounded, and this is my first Halloween special. Enjoy the show.
Man, I can't go trick-or-treating because I am grounded, all because of Corduroy the bear and his friends snitching on me, and I have to stay in the house during trick-or-treating writing sentences in my Blues Clues handy-dandy notebook prop replicas, all because of Principal Patrick, my wasteful teachers, Karen Miller and Marianne Fisher, and my wasteful parents Jack and Leanne. This is so stupid. Now what should I do? This gives me an idea. Instead of writing sentences in my Blues Clues handy-dandy notebook prop replicas Principal Patrick has gave me, I will sneak out of the house and go trick-or-treating while being grounded, and I will make a Tarzan costume with nothing but an underwear to freak all other trick-or-treaters out. Mwah ha 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 ha. Now that I am in my Tarzan costume, now it is time to sneak out of the house to go trick or treat while grounded. Mwah ha 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 ha.
Trick or treat. One candy coming up. Thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Fisher.
Have a happy Halloween, Corduroy, and I love your Pinocchio costume.
Thank you for liking my Pinocchio costume.
Trick or treat.
One candy coming up. Love your Corduroy the bear costume.
Thank you for liking my Corduroy the bear costume.
Trick or treat.
One candy coming up.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Fisher.
Have a happy Halloween, Patrick William Carolee, aka 2-year-old Patrick, and I love your Disney Winnie the Pooh costume.
Thank you for liking my Disney Winnie the Pooh costume.
Trick or treat.
One candy coming up.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Fisher.
Have a happy Halloween, Grace Temple, and I love your Cinderella costume.
Thank you for liking my Cinderella costume.
Trick or treat. One candy coming up.
Thank you, Mrs. Miller and Mrs. Fisher.
Have a happy Halloween, Raggedy Ann, and I love your Snow White costume.
Thank you for liking my Cinderella costume.
Trick or treat. Ha 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 ha. This is very funny that I have a Tarzan costume with nothing but an underwear. And I am Eric Cartman, the greatest troublemaker from South Park.
No, it is not funny. You are the one who is freaking people out with nothing but an underwear on, creating a public disturbance, causing chaos around here in North Brunswick, New Jersey, and you are mandated to wear clothes in public, and it is illegal to be naked in public, and the proper way to make a Tarzan costume is a muscular jumpsuit and a brown towel for the loincloth. For this I am getting the police to arrest you.
Jack Tenorman, your son Eric was freaking a lot of people out and causing huge chaos because he had nothing but an underwear on while trick-or-treating and causing a public disturbance, and he needs to be ashamed of himself.
You are right, Mr. Plod. Eric Cartman is such a troublemaker causing a lot of chaos, and he needs to be ashamed of himself, and I even found him one off trick-or-treating while grounded, so I have brought his clothes to the jail, so he put back on his clothes in the bathroom in the jail, and he needs to be grounded longer.
Yes, Eric Cartman needs to be grounded longer, and Eric Cartman is even worse than Sly and Gobo when I was a police officer in Britain in the Noddy franchise until when I moved here in the USA with my American cousin Officer Dibble from Top Cat, and especially he needs to write sentences in his Blue's Clues handy-dandy notebook prop replicas that Principal Patrick has gave for him at his home detention.
Oh, he will when he gets home. Eric Cartman. Words cannot describe on how mad we are at you for causing a public disturbance with nothing but an underwear on, and how dare that you went trick or treating while grounded. For this you are grounded. Go to your room now and write darn sentences in your Blue's Clues handy dandy notebook prop replicas.